Thank you, Sumit. Managing Director of Applause, Samir Nair, and of course, the man who needs no introduction, Manoj Bajpayee. Thank you so much. Hopefully, we're going to have an entertaining session after, of course, a day long of digital. In fact, AI is coming out of my ears. I'm sure it's coming out of yours too. Having said that, I'm going to start with you. Because of COVID, we've all gotten used to watching and streaming content. Right? A lot of actors have gotten opportunities. आपको क्या लगता है कि इसकी वजह से have we progressed in terms of content making या regress हो गए?
हिंदी में बोलूं या अंग्रेजी में बोलूं?
आपकी
भोजपुरी में भी बोल सकता हूं।
अब भोजपुरी टफ होगा, भोजपुरी टफ होगा।
नहीं, डिजिटल जो पूरा रेवोल्यूशन हुआ है, इससे सिर्फ फायदा ही हुआ है, घाटा कुछ भी नहीं हुआ है, क्योंकि सिनेमा के पास में इतनी कैपेसिटी नहीं थी कि इतने सारे टैलेंट को कंज्यूम कर सके। सिनेमा के पास में और जिसके कारण सिनेमा ना सिर्फ टैलेंट को मौका नहीं दे पा रहा था, बल्कि जो 4 या 5 जो हर डिपार्टमेंट में टैलेंट्स थे, उन्हीं पे वो हमेशा जो है इट यूज्ड टू फॉल बैक ऑन, बिकॉज वह एक फॉर्मूला सा बन गया था कि इसको ले लो, उसको लेके आओ, इसको लेके आओ तो फिल्म चल जाएगी। दैट यूज्ड टू बी अ वेरी श्योर शॉट, वेरी इजी फॉर्मूला दैट द पीपल वर फॉलिंग बैक ऑन। व्हाट इट हैज डन दैट when the revolution happened in the digital area, similarly the revolution happened in our industry also. So in terms of content, in terms of talent, I mean, Samir Nair, who is one of the most successful, CEO of the company, of managing director of Applause, and who are, making, I wouldn't even dare to say churning out, because they are coming out with such amazing content, amazing stories, and giving chances to so many talents in every department, not only actors. This was not possible. This was not possible before. This can never be possible if you just take it out, the digital revolution from this country or from this world. It will never be. I am the happiest person who has seen this industry growing and regressing in terms of storytelling, in terms of consumption of the talent in every department. I have benefited less. I have lost more in this industry. With the digital revolution, with the OTT coming into play, not only it has given me a chance to showcase my own ability, but at the same time, there were many talents, thousands of them, scattered all over Mumbai, living in faraway places in a very modest, a chawl or modest one-room apartment. Today they have a lifestyle. Today, Manoj Bajpayee date is very much possible, but their dates are not possible. So that's the outcome of digital revolution in this country. That's the outcome of internet OTT revolution in this country. And this is where I thank not only my luck that I'm still working in this time, but I really thank God for giving us this time.
I like your optimistic rose-tinted glasses, but
you can't survive in this industry if you're not optimist.
But as a journalist, I have to play devil's advocate, right? So glad that talent is being accepted from all corners. Kangana Ranaut talks about nepotism. Clearly, by your view and by what you've just said, nepotism abhi to hai hi nahi, kyunki sabko lifestyle aa gaya hai. People have moved from chawls to flats to maybe even bungalows in Bombay. But what is the impact the small screen or OTT is having on the big screen? Is the big screen now the step sister or the downtrodden sister, and is the silver screen taking main stage?
We will only know about it once the audience start going there in numbers. If you give them a fair play, if you give them an equal play. Right now, random films are doing well. Most of the films, people are not getting out of their comfort zone. not because of only OTT, also because of the long pandemic lockdowns. So they still have to come to terms with the fact that there is another medium of exhibition out there, which were very much available to them, and they should. I mean, like, so take an instance of my new release, Gulmohar. It is a family film, but when it came to releasing it in theater, producers and all the channel, OTT channel, everyone had a cold feet because people are not going to theater. Let's face the fact.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, from all the films they are not, and mostly families are not getting out of their homes together to watch a film. And to our luck, it has done supremely well on OTT, and we are very happy about it. So at the end of the day, the film has been making money. It is getting eyeballs. This is all we need.
Fair point. I want to talk to you about that. But before that, Sameer, my larger question being, this whole democratization of video and the fact that we can watch the big ticket films and, of course, specialized content being delivered to us on several OTT platforms and counting as they launch. Is this cannibalizing the big screen? Is the big screen now technically the small screen?
No, I don't think so. We've just been through RRR and Pathan and Pushpa, and many things have happened. A lot of movies have done well. As Manoj says, we are coming out of COVID. For 2 years, all theaters were shut, as were restaurants and airlines and everything. And I think the audiences used that as an opportunity to, adopt digital. They adopted all the streaming platforms. They got used to it. It was a huge surge in growth. They experimented with a lot of new content. They allowed so many new things to happen. Their taste improved. In a way, the quality of our audiences improved over COVID. That's the one good outcome of COVID. And they've seen a lot of stuff. Now, as we return to some degree of normalcy, you're expecting people to come back to theaters, to pay money, to buy tickets. And also, we've got strange things that go on in our industry. Like one is the window system. So any average audience knows that this movie is going to be on a platform in 8 weeks. Right, you know that. So that is in any case a mental block. Like unless there's a compelling reason to go out and buy a ticket, why would you? So these are just, that's just part of the business. See, the nature of our business is that we live in very complicated times now, right? Audiences have got immense choice. There's a lot of choice across movies, series, foreign, Indian, Hindi, regional, it's all available. That's what the streaming revolution has done. It's made this world truly into a global village, right? Where everything is available everywhere. Next to Family Man, you can get Money Heist. Right there. It was never possible before. You had to watch Star World and Star Plus. They were two separate things. Now everything is available. And now next to that comes Meenal Burli. That comes right there again. So this thing has really created a brand new audience, which is really exciting. The movie business will need to find its feet. People always say that, if you have to go to a theater, it has to be a blockbuster. But I don't think any industry can make 52 blockbusters in a year. It's not physically possible. So I think water will find its level. And I don't think the big screen is become the small screen or anything of the kind. Size-wise, it's anyway bigger. So, and a lot of the streaming platforms are on mobile phones. So that's quite small. But I think what is happening is that there's a whole new breed of actors that have come up. There's a whole new breed of talent that's got a chance to shine. As you say, that it used to be like, I've always compared the movie business to be like the national cricket team. 11 people make it, everyone else is stuck. And TV, Saas Bahu soaps and all that we do is like Ranji. So actually OTT and streaming is the IPL. Where everyone gets a chance to perform. You come, you have a great season, you hit the ball out of the park, you do all of that stuff. Right? And different people, you compete, you play, you work with the best. So I think this is good times. You have to be optimistic. And of course, revenue and money and viewership, all of that is complicated, but that's the nature of the business.
Yeah. So, he's not saying that, but let's just look at the results, right? If you look at any category, you look at bars, you look at restaurants, you look at travel, after COVID, everybody wanted to get out and travel. Everybody wants to go and party. Restaurants are full. A reservation is tough, whether you talk about Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, or even tier 1 cities. Everybody is out. So movies mein, especially Bollywood, South of course is rocking. But I'm saying, look at Bollywood. Log kyun nahi ja rahe hain? Why are people not reluctant to go to the big cinemas? Why are OTT platforms still wanting to acquire for so much money an RRR, a Pathaan? तो वो भी OTT पे है, big screen पे तो कोई जा नहीं रहा है. Okay, one Pathaan has done well, thank God. Huh? Yeah, Brahmastra, okay, fine. But you know, apart from that, there have so many have come and gone. And all the OTT platforms are also eyeing eyeballs and also acquiring these films at humongous amounts of money to acquire subscribers. तो ये मॉडल क्या है?
मॉडल तो वो बताएंगे.
नहीं तो आप आपके हिसाब से बताइए. And who is making money?
देखिए उसके जब आपकी बात में ही आंसर छुपा हुआ है. साउथ के पूरा का पूरा डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन का पूरा, अगर आप डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन और एग्जीबिशन का पूरा सिस्टम आप समझेंगे तो आपको पता चलेगा कि ये उनके लिए पॉसिबल था कि लोग बाहर निकल के फिल्मों तक जा पाएँ, बिकॉज उन्होंने मल्टीप्लेक्सेस को कभी आने नहीं दिया और सारे सिंगल थिएटर को उन्होंने प्रिजर्व करके रखा. उन्होंने उसके लिए लड़ाई की, हमेशा लड़ाई की. आई थिंक आई एम राइट, ओके. एंड देयर होल because they knew that one day, you know, the whole system which is coming into will be our weaknesses. So somewhere they saved it, they protected it, and this is where they have scored. Okay. Now coming back to, you call Bollywood, I call Hindi film industry.
Hindi film industry, my bad.
I don't know किसने बनाया है, पर तो उसको सामने लेके आई है मैंने. तो हिंदी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री के साथ जो हो रहा है वो उस पर ज़्यादा इट हैज़ बीन अफेक्टेड क्वाइट इम्पैक्टेड अ लॉट बाय द कोविड. दे आर वेरी मच हैप्पियर. all the contents, all the stories, all the films are available right in their living room. They don't want to get out. Getting out means going to a multiplex. That also means spending X amount of money, which they are not agreeing to at this point of time. So it all boils down to economics in the end. I think I'm right. Okay, Samir?
Is he right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, see, finally, you know, like the media business or like any business is that it's linked to revenue, right? So you have a cost of content, you have a cost of distribution, and then you've got to attract audiences and make some money. Sure. It's pretty straightforward, actually. Money you can make through subscription or advertising. Both ways you require audiences to be involved, engaged, and be sticky in order to make that money. There's a lot of competition. There's lots of options available. There's a price war in India. Everyone talks about India as this, you know, the great market of 1 billion people. Now, actually, it's 100 million people who can actually afford all these services. The rest of the market cannot afford these services. So you can keep growing exponentially, but the market need not. That's why when you say multiplexes, as you're saying, a trip to the visit to the multiplex with the family is 2,000 rupees. Yeah. That's a lot of money. You know, it's not a. So it's complicated. In the meantime, it is a big market. There are audiences out there. You know, you cannot have such a large population and not keep them distracted and engaged. You know, and that's what we do best, right? Our business is the business of mass distraction. You know, that's what we do. So, you know, and we are doing that very well in different ways. And of course, the economics of this is it costs money to make content. The cost of that keeps rising. Sure. You're trying to grow the market. There is a land grab, right? Because different competitors are fighting for the same share of market. And, you know, you can call it destructive creation.
Sameer, it's definitely advantage consumer, right? Definitely advantage me, right? But I have to bring upon this particular topic of content glut. Itna sara content hai, discovery is very tough. There's good and there is bad content, right? I'm not sure whether this availability of you know, the fact that we have so many OTT platforms, of course, some, of course, subscription-based, some advertising-based. Who are they catering to, or is it just like, it's a commonly used word, spray and pray? You know, what are we catering to? When you were doing Star, you were clear about your demographic. You were clear about the Saas Bahu serials catering to a certain TG of India, and your advertisers were also eyeing them. It was clear. When we come to the OTT business, yes, advantage talent for sure. But What type of films are we catering to, and which audience? Are we catering to India and Bharat, dono? Or are we are we clear about that? Because only then can we be clear about the economic model.
I think we are completely clear about with each and every project that we get into. I mean, each and everyone whoever is in power or position in that project, they are very clear with their statistics, with their survey, with their target audience. They are very, very clear. They are more clear than
Who's
any.
clear?
Yeah.
Manoj,
On OTT, I'm talking about.
Who's clear? Is it the producer? Like, okay, Sameer Nair may be clear, Manoj Bajpaiah may be clear.
Sameer Nair is much more clear, but look at the success ratio of his. So he's far more clear than many people, and in terms of choosing the right project. So
no, but
coming
is
back
Netflix,
to
Hotstar, Prime,
everyone,
MX Player, are they clear?
everyone is clear. Everyone is clear. This is, we may agree with certain projects or we may disagree, but largely they are doing just well in deciding about the target audience with each project. I'll give an instance of, as I said, with Gulmohar itself, we could not think of going to the theatre. They exactly knew that the families are there at home. They are not getting out together to watch anything. So this is a family film, and we are taking it to them, to their living room. No, we are not asking them to get out of the comfort zone, come to the theatre, buy tickets, buy popcorn, and watch our film. We could not take the risk. And eventually, few of us didn't agree with them, but eventually they were right. So we have to, there has to be a balance of passion and realism. If it is there, then definitely you are going to hit the target most of the time. At the same time, I'm just forgetting, there was a point. So at the same time, we have to be very careful, like me as an actor, Sameer, when I'm choosing there are five films right in front of me. Now and all 5 films are very good. Now I have to choose the right one. So and the right one is deciding, that decision is very crucial.
But how are you deciding? Are you deciding because you have to decide whether you want to do good content or you want to do mass content? So आप कैसे decide करते हैं?
No, I always went by good content. Mass content से मेरा कोई लेना देना आज तक नहीं रहा है. नहीं तो that is why OTT has been quite a boon for me, and I'm quite candid about it. So the clutter breaker, the clutter breaking content is something which you have to look for. You may go wrong sometime, you may go right sometime, but when you go right, that is when you feel that in real sense you are successful. Before Family Man, there were many offers in front of me, where and I was in USA. Somehow I watched Narcos there. I watched many other series in USA, and I realized that this is what we cannot touch, but this is in abundance on OTT. That genre, that kind of storytelling. Here, if I have to make an entry into OTT, I have to go with something very new and unique. I didn't know what was that new and unique unless it comes to me, and it came to me. I was somewhere lucky and intelligent enough to really understand that this is exactly I want to do. This is clutter breaking, okay? And we got lucky with it, with Family Man. So this is that kind of a mind we have to apply when we are taking up any project as an actor, or as a managing director of company like Applause, or as a director, or anyone.
Sameer, what does it mean to entertain the next generation? You have entertained, Bharat. You've entertained, mass market. Now you're entertaining, nuanced audiences. So, what does it mean to entertain the next generation?
See, first of all, I have a problem with this word next generation, right? Because I don't think there is any next generation.
What do you mean?
We are living, it's called overlapping universes. We are living, we are like whatever 1.5 billion people here, and we are in the business of entertaining everyone, right? This next generation comes with this, arrives with that little, sort of definition, which somehow that is younger, cooler, smarter, something or the other. What is next gen is the technology, right? It's not the people. The people are the same, right? The audiences are the same. There are always younger audiences. There will always be fashion and fad. There will always be older audience. That's what they say, that till up to the time you get your first job, you're carefree. Then you get a job and you're still carefree. Then you get married, you're not so carefree. Then you have an EMI and you become that middle class audience, right?
Yeah.
And you grow from there.
Yeah.
So that's what happens in each generation. Fashions change. There used to be bell bottoms before, now there are slimmer pants, those kind of things. I think storytelling remains the same, right? Finally, when you're talking to an audience, you have to tell them a compelling story. If you're telling them a compelling story, they are engaged with you. If you're not telling them a compelling story, they are not. And that has also been happening from the last 100 years, right? So I don't think there's so much change in that. What is happening is that, we keep, when you say, that is everyone clear what target you're going for, what you're doing. The thing what happens is that it is wrong to imagine this audience as a one-size-fits-all mass audience. It's not a mass audience. It's a mass of niches. And we are 1 billion people, so you can get 100 million women who like something. That still leaves 900 million people out of it. But it's a big number and it's a sizable audience.
But I don't think any platform is positioning like that, right?
The good thing with the platforms now is that they don't need to position like that. The platform is the ultimate Aladdin's cave, right? It is the ultimate cave. It's got everything in it. It's got everything available in it, from abroad to India, to regional language, to documentaries, to movies, to everything. Now it's a question of finding it, discovering it, and using it, and that's what platforms are supposed to do. If platforms now go chasing after, we'll play only big movies and common daily soap operas, they become a variation of TV, which is not what they're supposed to do in any case.
But they're doing that.
They're not. They actually, when you watch these platforms, you will see, they show you short films. You can see short films on platforms. You can see all kinds of, you can see documentaries. I think what the streamer has done everything what TV could never do. TV was always constricted by geography, by language, and by time slot, right? That's all. If you have a 9 p.m. slow, you've taken the slot. Today, you can have 100 things releasing at 9 p.m., right? And everyone can watch it when they want it. It's available all the time. You can binge watch it. You can watch it weekly. So, in a sense, the streaming revolution is truly revolutionary.
But why is it then that nobody is close to making money?
Well, you know what? Now, if you're talking about India, I think everyone is making a lot of money abroad.
India.
Yeah, India. Now, India has always been a complicated market. We talk about top of the pyramid, bottom of the pyramid. Top of the pyramid, whatever there is, that 10, 20, 30 million families, that bit. Then you talk about the big giant market. It's complicated, it's very value conscious. Indians, I think all the streamers discovered coming to India that, they all have a subscription model. Put a credit card, get a subscription, and it pays automatically. India, they discovered that we churn out. Ki summer holiday aa gaya to cancel subscription. Weekend ko I'm not there, cancel subscription. So, that's just the nature of the market. That's the nature of the thing. So you got to find that balance between the kind of content you're creating, the cost at which you're creating it, how much money can you get from the audience or the market, and how much of a value proposition you're building. Sure. That's how businesses are built. You're talking about big players, you're talking about Reliance Jio, that has got an outlook of 20 years out. So when you say that, are you making money, I don't think anyone is looking at the maths like that. The question is, are you building an empire? Are you building a business with that many customers and that much of a, position? Money will be made.
Money will be made 20 years hence or 10 years hence. I understand it's a long tail game, but we're also seeing the repercussions of that across, sectors where people are actually realizing that this great vision of 10, 20 years may not be a sustainable model.
No. See, that is the way all great businesses are built. When satellite TV first started in the 90s, no one could have imagined that satellite TV would become what it did. When we did KBC and Kyonki in 2000, there were 25 million homes. Today, they've reached 187 million homes. I think in many ways, streaming is the early days of satellite TV. We don't know where this is going to go. It's going to get to 5G will arrive. There will be 1 billion mobile phones. There'll be a new way of monetizing it. The economy will go up. We are going to get to 25 trillion and 30 trillion. It's all looking good. It's all looking up. And all boats rise with the tide, yeah?
I'm going to ask you the closing question. And, सर थोड़ा कैंडिड हो जाइए. हाँ, एवरीथिंग इज ग्रेट, एवरीथिंग
आपके
इज
आपके नजर में कैंडिड होना वो है कि जो मुझे प्रॉब्लम में फंसा
नहीं नहीं नहीं, प्रॉब्लम नहीं. आप यू बी कॉशियस. आई एम सेइंग, लेकिन प्रॉब्लम क्या है अभी हिंदी फिल्म इंडस्ट्री और स्ट्रीमिंग इंडस्ट्री में, अकॉर्डिंग टू यू? विशेष टिप्पणी दीजिए फॉर द स्टेक होल्डर्स.
पता नहीं, मतलब प्रॉब्लम कुछ नहीं है.
सब-
प्रॉब्लम
सब-
अगर नहीं,
सब
अगर
बढ़िया
अगर
है.
मुझे प्रॉब्लम दिखाई देता तो मैं इतना तो कैंडिड हूँ, जरूर बता देता मैं आपको. लेकिन मेरे ख्याल से आप अगर सही सवाल पूछेंगे तो जवाब भी उसी तरीके का आएगा. लेकिन प्रॉब्लम देखिए, मेरे हिसाब से जो इंडिया की सिनेमा नहीं कर पाया था वो ओटीटी ने इतने कम सालों में किया है. जो मैंने शुरू में भी कहा था कि इतने सारे टैलेंट को इसने कंज्यूम किया है, मौका दिया है कि जिसकी कोई हद नहीं है. अगर आप नंबर गिनाने जाएंगे तो आप थक जाएंगे. और सारे डिपार्टमेंट में, सारे एडिटर्स, सारे सिनेमाटोग्राफर्स, सारे साउंड इंजीनियर्स, म्यूजिक डायरेक्टर्स, एक्टर्स, all of them today are very busy. Casting directors are much more busy than any other time. There are new shop coming up now of casting directors, because whoever are there now, they are flooded with so many offers. So I see a great indication of coming time. But मेरी प्रॉब्लम होती एक ही जगह पे है कि जो नया है उसको बहुत जल्दी काम मिल रहा है, उसको थोड़ा सीखना चाहिए था. बट नाउ he's getting work so easily and so immediately, you know. So he's distracted from learning. So this is where my problem lies. Yeah.
थोड़ा हसल होना चाहिए.
हाँ,
थोड़ा
मतलब
struggle.
हमारा तो मतलब ऐसा लगा कि मतलब हमने ही गलती कर दी हाँ करके.
On that note, thank you so much, gentlemen. This has truly been a pleasure. Thank you for gracing us. Thank you, Sameer. Thank you for your
Thank you.
time.